What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Today let's talk about the probability of the inflation in the US coming back to double-digit numbers, potentially up to 14.4% or higher or lower as it used to be in the past. And the reason for this video is because obviously you already heard about Fed decreasing the rates by 0.5% in their September meeting. Then there were also talks about decreasing by an additional 0.5% by the end of this year. So looks like that we might see rate cuts faster than anticipated, which in return inevitably sooner or later will start increasing the inflation. So the main question of this video, isn't it too early that the rate cuts started, and isn't it too much how fast they are decreasing them? To begin with, right here you see a first graph, which shows the comparison between the inflation in the 1970s and the inflation we are right now. As you can see, the graphs so far, they follow up precisely next to each other. We did the rate cuts right now almost at the very bottom, so once again, inevitably the inflation will go up. The question is, how far up will it go? Because so far, previously, approximately 50 years ago, it reached 14.4% according to this graph. Will the history repeat itself? Another thing which might potentially reaccelerate the inflation is not that weak labor market. Because if you remember, one of the requirements for the Federal Reserve to start cutting rates was a relatively weak labor market, and then Fed comes to save the day, decreases the rates, and everyone is happy. But according to this graph, specifically by the last four tables highlighted in yellow, you can see that the salary starts to go up a little bit once again. And this is even before the rate cuts were done. So basically, whenever they are performed, whenever the economy starts feeling the effects of reduced interest rates, this will also lead to a little bit inflation, and the salaries, in order to follow the inflation, in order to exceed the inflation, salaries will also need to go up. But if they are already going up during high interest rate environment, whenever the rates are lower, it might contribute to inflation a lot. And because of higher salaries, this will contribute towards inflation. High inflation will contribute towards higher salaries, and then this is like a never-ending loop. According to this next graph, which looks like it is a relatively unprecedented move, because Fed started to cut the rates when the entire overall economic financial conditions are not that hard. They are relatively easy economic conditions we are living through right now, which once again can contribute to reaccelerating inflation even further. So as you can see, we don't have a very promising future in relation to the inflation. Once again, it will go up. This is 100% inevitably. That's just as simple as economics works. You lower the rates, increase the inflation. You increase the rates, lower the inflation. Well, we are decreasing the rates right now, so you can only guess what happened. And then we also fuel the economy with a labor market which is not that weak right now, with other things, with boosting economic activity. So all these things discussed in today's video and everything else we talked in previous videos, this might be a big contributor towards double-digit inflation in a relatively near future. And one of the also most concerning things we did briefly mention it in my previous video is that whenever inverse yield curves they start to go down according to this graph, this is when a lot of financial disasters started to happen. The very basic understanding of inverted yield curve is when basically market participants expect more risks in the near future rather than in the uncertain long-term future. And well, as you can see, once again, according to this graph, we are exactly in this scenario. So will this new upcoming potential crisis will be as severe as the previous ones, or could it be even much worse? The time will tell. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if this was interesting, informative, or both, and see you tomorrow.